Hello there, and welcome to this guide for a 6.1 Destro Warlock in arenas, battlegrounds, RBGs, and just PvP. We're going to be going over talents, glyphs, rotation, and everything that you need to survive in an arena, RBG, or a battleground with your friends. I'll also be covering enchants and other useful things to help you do maximum damage and sustain the most. So the first thing that we're going to talk about are the talents. What you're going to need for talents: first, tier 15, we're going to go with Searing Flames. It's the best for sustain and being able to survive those bursts or long encounters with other classes such as DKs or warriors. The other two I don't really see a need for. Dark Regeneration is good for Affliction, but we're Destro. Tier 30 talents, we're going to be going with Shadow Fury. This is all up to your preference. The main two would be Shadow Fury and Mortal Coil, though, to pick between one of the two. Shadow Fury is on a 30-second cooldown, which is way better because Mortal Coil is on a 45-second cooldown, but those are more for getting casters. Shadow Fury is more for melee targets such as warriors, DKs, shamans, anything like that. So we're going to be going with Shadow Fury. Mortal Coil heals you for 11% of your maximum health, which is good. And then there's also Howl of Terror, but that's not the greatest because DKs can warriors can just enrage and the fear will be gone. Level 45, we're going to be going with Sacrificial Pact. That's the best because if you use that, it just puts a 246k shield on you. And that's really OP. It sacrifices 20% of your health, but that's okay because if you have Searing Flames and you'll be spamming that as well, you'll be set. Level 60, we're going to be taking Blood Horror over Unbound Will. Blood Horror is the best because it puts basically puts a fear on you, so if any melee attacks you, they'll be feared immediately for 3 seconds, which gives you time to follow up with a casting fear. Unbound Will is good, but that's basically just like another trinket if you really needed one. Removes stuns, slows, any other CC. So I go with Blood Horror because that's best for melees. Maybe Unbound Will is best for casters if you're going up against a mage, warlock, or a priest or something. Level 75, we're going to be going with Grimoire of Sacrifice. This is the best talent, I think, besides level 100. Is because if you summon one of your 4 demons, you get an ability from the demons that you can use without them being alive. So Voidwalker, you increase your health. Fell Hunter is an interrupt, 24-second cooldown, and Succubus is a knockback that knocks back. It's got a 5-yard, basically AOE that knocks everyone back. But the Fell Hunter is the best. Also, when you use Grimoire of Sacrifice, it gives you 25% increased damage, and also causes you to regenerate 2% of your maximum health every 8 seconds. This is fantastic for arenas because all you need is sustain for those extra bursts that you use with Searing Flame. There's Grimoire of Supremacy, which is also good, but I'm just saying for arenas, the Grimoire of Sacrifice is the best. Level 90, we're going to be going with Archimonde's Darkness. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. Basically, your Dark Soul has 2 charges, and Dark Soul just increases your damage basically for 20 seconds. It increases your crit strike for 30%. Killjane's Cunning is good, but Archimonde's Darkness is the best. It's ideal. Killjane's Cunning allows you to cast while moving. That may be good for melee targets. If you're going against a warrior and a DK, you might want to be able to use that. Level 100, we're always going to be going with Charred Remains. I think it's the best for sustain. It's all about sustain in arenas and rated battlegrounds. If you're 1v1ing someone, you're not going to have much heals. But if you have Charred Remains, you're going to be having lots of heals because if you combine that with Searing Flames, you're just going to be stacking up those burning embers. Charred Remains, basically everything generates 200% more burning embers. So your incinerate, your conflagrates. Those are all very, very good. And then since it gives it 50% less damage, the Grimoire of Sacrifice gives you a 25% increased damage. So it balances out to 25% less damage. You could go with Cataclysm, but you know, that's not ideal. Maybe for Battlegrounds, if you've got a massive group of enemies and you just want to do a fat AoE damage, it actually like crits for like 100k, 80k, which is really good, and also puts Immolates on all the targets. So that's it for the talents. Let's go on to the Glyphs. Glyphs, 100% always going to be using Glyph of Healthstone. It's 100% more healing. You know, simple as that. Glyph of Conflagrate, that's the best one as well, because you know it slows them. You don't need to have an Immolate on them to slow them. And then the third glyph I'm using is Glyph of Siphon Life. It's not the best. There are other better talents like Undenying Resolve, Internal Resolve. But I just go with this because in arenas it's best for sustain, which is all you want, because Destruction Warlocks are generally the main target, and they also have bad, they're not that defensive. So Glyph of Siphon Life just basically heals you when you have Immolate on both of your targets in 2s. If you want to swap that out for Eternal Resolve, basically it requires that there's no more Undenying Resolve, but it makes you take 10% less damage overall. And then I have some other. The Glyph of Nightmares is good for your Felsteed. It lets you walk on water. Okay, so here we are in Ashran. This is what you're gonna need to do for your basic rotation for Destro. First, you're gonna always want to summon one of your demons, and then use the Grimoire of Sacrifice to get one of its abilities. Then from there, you're gonna probably want to make a soul well for your teammates to get health stones for healing. Alright, then let's say you're in the fight and you see your opponents. First thing you're gonna do is gonna set a Havoc. Havoc lets you basically do the same amount of damage on 2 targets. So I do Conflagrate, then Immolate, and then from there you're gonna want to do Incinerate, and Havoc again, then pop your 1-shot and do Chaos Bolts. And then repeat the rotation. And this entire time, let's say you're taking damage, you have your Sacrificial Pact, you have your Health Stone, and the most important thing, you have your Searing Flames. So you could consume your Searing Flames, your Burning Embers, to be healed for around 30 to 40k. Make sure you always have a Havoc up on the target so you get as max Burning Embers as possible. Make sure also with the Glyph of Siphon Life, you always have an Immolate on the target so you're healed as well. Alright, so let's do this again. Havoc, 2 Conflagrates, Immolate, and spam Incinerate. By this time, your Burning Embers are full, so you pop Dark Soul and your Trinket, and you do Chaos Bolt. Preferably, you're going to do 3 Chaos Bolts, and then by this time, you will Shadow Burn to get the killing blow. Now we're going to move on to our basic gear and enchants. So ideally, you're going to want to have full 660 gear, with your main priority, Crit Strike. Then it's going to be Mastery, and then maybe Haste or Multi-Strike, it doesn't really matter. But you're going to want to have enchants on all your gear. So Neck Piece, Crit Strike, your Cloak, Mastery plus 10 speed, 10% speed, and then your weapon, you're going to want to have Mark of Bleeding Hollow, which gives you a bonus Mastery buff basically, and then on your rings, Crit Straight. I don't have that one enchanted, and that's ideal for max damage. Okay, so now I'm just going to put in a quick clip from my arena so you guys can get the feel about how Destro Warlocks work in Arena and see some of the strategies that I use. Get my Demonic Gateway in case I need to use it for a later fight. Right there, I see the rogue opening on me, so I pop my Sacrificial Pack. I trinket the Kidney Shot, and then I put a Havoc on the Mage so I can build up Burning Embers to use. Cast Immolate on both my targets. Then I put Shadow Fury down to stun the Mage. Then I put a Rain of Fire so the rogue can't re-stealth. But I mean, he still does. And then right there, did you see that? I switched targets to interrupt the poly using my, Fell Hunter. And then basically just from here, bursting down the targets, I put another Havoc up on the Mage, another Rain of Fire so the rogue can't re-stealth. Then I put my Blood Horror on me so the target gets feared, pop my one shot, get a Chaos Bolt. Then he vanishes. And then from there, pop another Shadow Fury, get another Chaos Bolt, which kills him. And then I switch to Mage, interrupt his poly again, and then Chaos Bolt, Shadow Burn. This is Executus here. Just want to say thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to answer them within a day or two. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.